Hello, this is FG back with you for Anbennar, continuing on with the Rosande campaign, picking up actually not where we left off, because I just wanted to play ahead, so this episode could be a little bit shorter, just so we can have a nice, concise finale. I have begun upgrading, building forts all over Woods to get one of our missions done that requires there to be forts everywhere. Unfortunately, basically the moment I started building them, I ended up advancing tech-wise. Imperialism, hurrahs. Spy network, or we're building a spy network. Okay, good. Sieges are done with. Deal with that. Army. Take some casualties. Okay. Let's do element summoning. So what we want is going to be all of these provinces and these right here, and then these. Probably, no, we don't need to take this grove. Should just be able to take this province ourselves. Okay, Feather Academy, Longlands. Who else am I fighting? Arlene Albizier. And then go deal with our Lordstone. Salathagelorn. Okay. Money. Or reps. This. Obviously, I want these provinces as well. Salayth. Fantastic. Yeah, I can't take any more of that. Alright, that's good. That upgraded, that upgraded. Get that upgraded. I need to convert that, I need to upgrade that fort. Alright. shot. Let's split that in half. And they can suppress rebels in this grove. They can come south. These guys move ahead here. Inconvenience, right? And they do that. These guys can deal with all of these provinces. Assume those were Siren Bar rebels. Economic heading. Alright, that is going to be most of those provinces cleared up. Flexibility. Who's got straight grave? So, Thorn Grove, Hunter Grove. Areas. Thorn Grove, Hunter Grove. Okay. That should be that one. That should be all of the provinces I need covered. Prestige of 90. Oh, Ben is the Emperor. Okay, do that. And then we can go. That. Green orcs. The elk ahead is cattle. Forgot about them. This would give me Aaron Yeager. Of course it would. Fun character. expedition for battle. Right, that's all done with. Need more prestige. So we'll declare war, imperialism, avoid raiding them. Let's get one of more of our army to deal with Sirenvar. I don't need to call in hurrahs. Also, a lot of Runefather worship. Very interesting. Magical succession. Okay, Sirenvar can get out. Good. These are obviously already fully cored. For the longest time, the orcs marauded beneath the verdant canopy of the deep woods, thought themselves beyond our reach, but this is no longer true, and finally they shall be made to pay for their crimes of their ancestors. The power of the statelets they have formed deep in the forest had been broken, and we are now in position to start the transfer of their people from those plantation mines and hills in our heartland suffering from the lack of laborers in the aftermath of the Great Slave Rebellion. While their ancestors might have escaped justice, their descendants will finally face consequences for the crimes committed by their people. Justice will at long last be served. And then we can do... Prestige of 90. Get a very small amount of prestige for fighting these different battles. There we are. Alright, so for Sirenvar... Okay, I'm gonna have to fight them for those profits. Okay. We just won't take anything from them. Oh yeah, Sala Aelith are the hunter ones. Yeah. This way, what is the highest? great. Good. Development-wise... Double check there are no actual orcs. Oh yeah, there is. Out of the woods. With the fighting spirit of the Deepwood Orcs finally broken, it is now time to use their ferocity for more productive purposes. Slave caravans have assembled in the groves under our control and begin the long march towards our heartlands with its insatiable hunger for new slave labor. Once stripped of the cover of the trees that have sheltered them from retribution far too long, they will learn what true role in life destiny has decreed for them: penance for the crimes committed by their ancestors. It is truly fortuitous that our need for orcish slaves is almost as great as their need for atonement. So an old Vernham. Ooh, that's excellent. Do economic growth. Do that. Just want to get a few more plantations down before I end. That established a plantation here. Nope, not really what I was looking for. Finally got it. Alright, now I can establish plantation right there. Grapes, salt, and I'll go establish one of them. I'll do that as well. Oh, those are half orcs. Yeah, you don't enslave them, they're okay. Do want to check. Yes. We produce almost 40% of the world's wine. That's a crazy amount. Official. Plantation. Stage of 90. Nutritions. The ashen bloom. The pale ashen rose of Rosande has grown her roots deep in the fertile soil of Ascan, and shall never be extricated. We have stayed true to our noble purpose and brought the light of civilization to these tormented lands, bringing the savages dwelling in the ruins of their victims to justice and enabling an unprecedented flourishing of our domain. All over Canor, our wealth is envied, our wines are praised, and our claim to be the true successor of chivalric Ascan is respected. But as they say, the true rewards are the slaves we made along the way. Such innate excellence as we have demonstrated is of course rewarded only by the imposition of even more duties, as it shall be our destiny going forward to bring proper order to the remainder of the former Castanorian domain and beyond. Weary but quietly content, Erdenil retraced his steps as a familiar sight slowly emerged from the verdant shade of the deep woods. It had been a long but successful hunt, and soon his feet carried him on familiar paths to his village. Some of the buildings on the outskirts still bore the scars of battle, the last desperate attempt by Orcish raiders to reject their fate and stem a seemingly inexorable rose tide that ended their reign of terror here in the deep woods. As he entered the village square, he spotted a convoy of carts heavily encumbered with the finest lumber the deep woods could offer. It was departing for Rosande, and for a moment the sight reminded him of the procession of chained orcs leaving his home forever. Defeat, disbelief, and uncertainty and fear indelibly etched on their savage faces. The woods were quieter since then, but it was the calm quiet of peace that he and his kin could now enjoy under the protection of the ashen rose. Or Garland, as his master called him, was crouching in the vineyard harvesting a bunch of grapes low on the vine. His aching back protested each movement, his latest whip marks breaking open over and over. Years and years of bondage had taught him to ignore the pain and proceed with his work, lest he catch the cruel attention of overseers eager to remind their charges of the consequences of laziness or truculence. Sadly, this lesson had not been internalized by all his fellow slaves. In particular, the latest batch of Deepwood orcs were prone to catch the whip for intermittent bursts of pugnacity they still exhibited. Some of the elders in the barracks became misty-eyed by such futile pugnacity, recalling the glory days during Serga's aborted rebellion, but Garl knew better. Freedom was a fool's dream for an orc, and all it brought was the snap of a whip. The summer heat gave air a hazy, almost dreamlike quality. The calming chirping of the cicadas was only interrupted once in a while by the crack of the whip-kneading flesh. Dalen Sil Minartros sat in the shade of his pavilion, gazing over the gently undulating landscape of his plantation, enjoying the breeze created by the constant motion of peacock fans. He idly scooped up a bit of rose sorbet, kept cool by magically preserved ice hauled from serpentine peaks. Being responsible for maintenance of the proper order of society is a tasking duty, but does come with some perks, he thought to himself, as his eyes rolled over the teeming rows of orcish slaves tending to the fields. The ashen rose blooms triumphant. Despairing orcs wonder if they shall ever be free. We now have claims on the remainder of Castanor, but that is where I'm going to leave it. We have enslaved basically all of the orcs in Canor, minus, the Grombaris up here, which we could actually take, as well as the handful held by Verkal Kozamand. But that is enough for me. We can take a look at our trade goods and admire the quite ridiculous quantities of wine that we produce. We can go through our ledger. Our projection, yep, we are one of the top ones. We're number 1 in the world right now, actually. So we did manage to make it to the top. Government, score comparison. We're number 7 in score, which is alright. Religion-wise, yeah, we're basically one of the 2 nations who do infernalism, which is always fun. Iron Tross is actually pretty, it's what, the top 15, I think? Pretty good. Advisors, military leaders, current rulers. It's basically just been X-West and Istralor and yeah. We still have Kylian, the cruel. Tradition-wise, 100% tradition. Professionalism is pretty good. Discipline, rock solid. Morale is alright. Siege ability is actually lower than I was expecting it to be. Only 38%. Defensiveness, obviously we're not dwarves. Force limit is quite high. We never took quantity, so we have very high quality armies. Yep, number 4 in losses. Income. Number 2. By only 120. That's actually, if I'd conquered the deep woods and managed and took all the provinces from Gouet, we could actually probably swing that in our favor. Actually have an absolute ton of Rosandes. Wine makes up 20% of our production. Okay. Yes, we have the majority of the wine, which is excellent. Majority of woods. Weirdly enough, they're also leading producer of naval supplies and iron and glass. I didn't even think we had that many glass provinces. No, we actually have quite a few. 6. Yeah, I suppose we are probably the best glass makers. Well, maybe if the Harmrush took that, they could probably get higher. They developed some of these. Alright. Coalitions, current wars, great powers. Alright. That is it. I will also go into observer mode and just take a look around. Codic is big. As well as this is, I believe, the people of Blake. The traders of Kalen. Yeah. Pretty close. Jianxiong, big superpower. Actually, they fell out of the GP list. Baihonjin took over, forget what that subcontinent is. Ventradong, the Uniki, and the Wukulon. Elsewhere. Oh, there's a mushroom forest over here. That'll be fun. Elsewhere, we have the Mengi, which they have not actually managed to take their form pool. Because they have to grab provinces from up there. Alright, we also have Ryaz, yes, Yasa. Does Yasa have a mission tree? Yes, they do. Ryaz also has a mission tree. They are the canonical unifiers of the 333rd Empire, and I will be playing as them when I do my Lizardman playthrough. Elsewhere in the world, Amion has been lost, actually is lost to Vern, which is fascinating. Culture-wise, yeah, not what I was expecting. Oncenary half-elf. Elsewhere. Oh, we actually had a, I guess Jimmerkirk won for a while. And then Facebite, which is because Goettes hate the Fae. Do the Goettes have a... Oh yeah, the Goettes do have colonial culture. That's cool. Additionally, I just thought I should show this off. Huge Zaba cult. I believe they actually formed the Great Zaz for a while. I'll actually check that. Yeah, they did. For about 60 years, they had the, what's it called? Zahob's Chosen. I forget what their name was, but... Yep. Otherwise, religion-wise, nothing particularly interesting. High Philosophy Victory. Mystic Accord. Yeah. A lot of region court in the New World, though. Alright, I believe that will be it. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this campaign, and have a good day.